Hello everybody and welcome into the Grindstone Developments Truck Series live tonight with the final race of the season in Hollywood from Auto Club Speedway. Thank you all so much for tuning in. You are watching Austin Green on PGR eSports. Qualifying is complete, and for the final time in this season, drivers are getting lined up and getting ready to grab the green flag. So before we go any further into what points are looking like and who is going to be your season champion, let's get right down trackside and take a look at tonight's starting grid. And how about the pole sitter? Speaking of champion, there he is starting on the front row tonight. And the way the series is set up, the way points are scored, the driver with the most accumulated points at the end of the season is your champion. And Craig Janczak mathematically has already done that through his performance up to this point throughout the season. So he is your season champion, but he's looking for one more win here tonight. We'll see if he can do it. Puts down a very fast lap at a 39.3 to get himself that first starting position here tonight. On the outside, it's going to be the 99 of Bryce Rayner, who felt like he had something for the fellow Team Conti truck. The 88 of Janczak, who he was racing with last week. Things didn't quite work out. We'll see if he can capitalize here tonight. Nathan Meyer back in the 24 truck. He will start third. It's going to be James Harris, another one of the 2-mile aces, back in fourth. Randy Richards starts in fifth. Jamison Correa to his outside in sixth. Kevin Kirchar, winner back at Daytona, starts in seventh. Or excuse me, winner at Atlanta, I should say, starts back in seventh. Andrew Hale in eighth, with Toby Ritters in ninth. And Stephen Pless rounding out your top 10. Caleb Forsyth will start back on the inside of row number 6. It'll be John Legger to his outside in 12th. Tyler Meeks, Brad Thacker back in row 7 with Jason Ethery 15th. George Young in 16th. Jason Taylor back in 17th. Then you've got William Mann in 18th. Blake Tidwell in 19th. And Brian High rounding out your 20 truck field. Looking at your race info, very similar to what we saw last week at Michigan Auto Club. A little bit different, only in the sense of really the surface type. 2 miles in total distance, and still banking in the corners enough, not quite as much as what we would see at a Daytona or a Talladega, but enough that you're going to see these trucks maybe even wide open here on the early portions of a run. 66 laps going to be the distance that we run here tonight. 100% fuel, 4 sets of tires, 1 fast repair, open setups, and 2 green white checkers. Track temp 69 degrees as the sun is starting to set here in Hollywood. 66 degrees the weather outside in the sim. All right, here we go. One last chance for the field, one last chance to grab a win, and one final time for us up here in the booth. Here we go. For the final time this season, green flag is in the air. We're racing at Auto Club. Side by side as the field works down the backstretch for the first time here tonight. Up front, single filing out quickly though. Craig Janzak will lead him into turn number 3. That's the 24 of Nathan Meyer. Haven't had a chance to call his number this season, but here he is tonight, the final race, making a start, and they're going to make the most of it. Meyer picked up that spot that he qualified in, or excuse me, picked up a spot from where he qualified in rather quickly. And now it's all about either getting into tire saving mode or getting aggressive. And it looks like for the 55 here of James Harris, he's going to go with getting aggressive. Down into turn 1, looking to the inside of Andrew Hale. We'll see if he can slide up and grab that position. He cannot. Andrew Hale gets the big run off of turn 2. He'll stay tucked in line, and about up front right now, pretty good mix, but for the most part, all Chevys, one Toyota in the mix. That's Bryce Rayner. And so as Andrew Hale continues to work that high lane, we're going to be talking about this, and we're going to see this a lot tonight. Different grooves of racing. You heard in the post-race interviews, one of the common themes last week was that similar to Michigan in terms of speed, but maybe a little bit more racing in terms of which lines you can run. I kind of thought it would be the opposite. We'll have to see what we get here tonight. As further back, there's plenty of side-by-side still. That's Toby Ritters right now alongside Randy Richard. And Randy Richard in the 8th spot. He's actually down 3 positions where he qualified at, so currently going slightly in the wrong direction, but again, very early. A lot of things going on. Drivers saving tire. I don't think anybody's really concerned about saving fuel, but certainly no reason to get overly aggressive just yet. Got a long ways to go at 66 laps, and that means that we are indeed still expecting a pit stop at some point in time. It's going to be more so a question of when that pit stop ends up being. And, oh man, that looked close right there for a minute. Toby Ritters trying to get behind the 91 of Kirchard to give him a push down the front stretch, and man, almost contact there in the turn 1 between him and Randy Richard. Looks like they all get it sorted out for now, but Richard still 2x2 here as he races alongside the 91 of Kevin Kirchard down the backstretch. Further up, you see James Harris still going at it here with the 4 of Andrew Hale. These two finally going to sort it out. It looks like that time Hale lifted a little bit early. It's going to cut him a break and let him sneak through as we'll hop on to some of our onboard cams here in just a moment. But 4 of 66 laps in the books, and out back the racy up front, they are organized. In fact, I have a feeling this is some teamwork right here from these 3. The 24, the 88, and the 99 seem to be drafting away from everybody else. In fact, they have pulled over a second gap just about on everybody else. Now, James Harris trying to close that trend back down. We'll see if he can do it right here. And he's going to have to figure it out pretty quickly, but he did close up a good amount that last lap after the gap got up to just over a second there, at least just briefly. Now back down to about 8/10. James Harris on the bottom. And again, he's grabbing a lot of draft right now from everybody in that lead pack. I say everybody. It's realistically only 3 trucks, and as you see right there, the 24 going to dip to the inside. That'll help out a little bit. Is that actually the 24 here? Yes, it is. A little shocked to see Nathan Meyer jump out of line here. It's going to be a tough ask with 2 Team Conti trucks on the outside trying to get past both of them. Instead, looks like he's going to lose that second place spot now to the 99 of Bryce Rayner. Good move by Rayner. So as they get back to two and I was going to say they're back to single file, but I'm sitting here looking at it. I know I don't have it up for you yet. In fact, I'll pull it up now, but oh, caution. Trouble. John Legger in the 15 and Jason Taylor have gone around. We got one more involved here, too. It looks like it might be the 4 of Andrew Hale. Indeed, it is. And another one, too, is that Tyler Meeks. Man, big damage to the 99. You see smoke out of the front. The front end's heavily caved in on top of that. That explains the smoke out of the back, but doesn't explain what sparked our first incident here tonight. Andrew Hale had been running relatively close to the front, and wow, what a view that is. The 4 truck gets up and over here with whatever seems to unfold. So Hale had fallen back here. Now he's going to get in this scrap, which is probably about 5 different trucks all going for one spot. We'll go to the blimp cam first. And this is as they're working through 1 and 2. The contact's going to happen off of turn 2. But there you see the 34. Great big run up on the outside. By the way, that was Jason Nethery. So he gets to the outside, but then as they get off the corner here, almost gets into the wall at the same time. Tyler Meeks has a great big run, and not sure if Meeks is... Yeah, I don't think Meeks is planning on splitting him. I think that Meeks is trying to push him, but right about as he gets there with that run, the 34 gets into the wall, and then Meeks gets into him trying to go somewhere with that run, but there's just nowhere to go, and then they get 4 wide, almost 5 wide. In fact, I think they actually... Did they get 5 wide here? It's either 4 or 5. We'll back that up for you again and show you this from a different angle. Yeah, they were 5 wide for just a split second before it all kind of broke loose here. And again, watch it. The 34 never makes a great move here to get to the outside. And as he does, drifting up the track, and then right here, just a little bit tight, barely brushes the outside wall, but scrubs off so much speed in the process of trying to keep it off the wall. And then obviously once they get 5 wide here, just running out of real estate, the 99 Meeks starts to come down, maybe a little bit of net code between him and Andrew Hale. Gets that 99 truck turned in the wrong direction, and look at this, immediately as they start to go, the 99 gets up, sits back down, the 4 of Andrew Hale does not. That thing goes all the way up and over, eventually lands back on all 4, and if he doesn't hit the inside wall, which he doesn't, it gets a little tap there at the end, but the point I'm making is overall the damage on his truck is really not too bad because he didn't actually hit the inside wall, got close, but no dice. That's the good news for him. Fortunately, though, for some of these other trucks like Tyler Meeks, engine expired. That's going to be a hefty repair in the sense of you got to pay that fast repair a lot earlier than you would have wanted to. And here's kind of that distance view of it right there. I mean, it's so slight. And again, it was hard to tell. And before we go to this view, show you this one more time here. We can't really zoom in much more. Trying to see if I can get a better angle for you. For Tyler Meeks here, watch this from his left rear. And that doesn't do it much justice either here. We'll back this up and see if we can maybe go to Andrew Hale instead. And here you go. All right, so Andrew Hale, watch right here. Or excuse me, that's the wrong side. We'll flip this over to the right rear, right front region. And there you go. So there's Tyler Meeks right there. Either, again, slight contact or slight net code that pulls them into contact. But either way, once they do get connected right there, just immediately turns Meeks around. Nothing he could do, and then for a ride they go. You see the 19 out back as well. Nowhere to go. That was a big hit for Meeks. John Legger with some slight contact. I don't think that's race ending for him by any stretch of the imagination. And so I think he'll be able to get that repaired. A couple more views of this here before we go back live and get set up for this next green flag run. Nethery lucky to escape from that one, although he did get some contact there with the right front to the outside wall. I think besides that, he should be okay. There's that big hit, and give you one more angle of this here from the TV static view before we go back live. Yeah, this is going to be a pretty wild shot. Watch this as you see them slide across your screen here. In fact, we had one more, it looked like, maybe go up into the wall up top. So there was Nethery already in the wall. And then, oh, there's the 15, Jason Taylor. That's where he gets his damage from. So that explains that. All right. As we go back live now, lights are off on the pace car. Nathan Meyer, Toby Ritter, excuse me, going to lead him back to the green here. Caleb Forsyth, Jason Nethery back in row 2. Brad Thacker in 5th. So only 9 laps in the books. Still a long ways to go. It'll be 56 laps remaining. Make that a 57 tally once we go green right here.
Green flag, green flag.
Green flag back in the air, and it's a good restart for the 24 of Nathan Meyer. He gets the better jump, and he'll lead the field across the line, and he'll have any option he wants here as they work off towards turn 1. Inside, outside, you name it, he's going to be able to go for it here. And by the way, an interesting mix-up here in terms of drivers that pit versus drivers that did not pit. Obviously, Bryce Rayner, Craig Janzak, your top 2, deciding to make that stop, grabbing fresh tires, which are so crucial here, but at the same time, so is track position. Kind of a catch-22 scenario, but I think that this early on, tires is not a bad idea, especially if you think this race has the potential to go green. But if we start getting a bunch of cautions here, I don't know if that's necessarily the best strategy call. We'll have to see how it all plays out. Still 2x2 down the front stretch. Look at the inside line, really getting organized now. James Harris is going to lead Janzak, Rayner, and a few others down all the way to the bottom of the racetrack as they go into turn 1. If you've got fresher tires on the inside, I mean, they are just going to roll by everybody. You see George Young, not really much he can do right now with those slightly older tires. How about Jameson Correa, excuse me. Good to see him back in the field here tonight. Rocking the 81 machine for Team Conti. 53, Randy Richard looking to the inside here. The 53, maybe make this move work right here. You got to be so careful. It's so easy to get over-aggressive on these restarts because the pace is just so fast. We talked about the track temp being a little bit on the cooler side of the spectrum. And part of the trade-off for that is that you get this really aggressive racing as lap times pick up. But for Randy Richard right now, the driver out of Osceola running pretty well here. He's got himself back inside the top 10 and looking for more. But just look how much wheel he's got to put into that truck. I mean, you hear him basically full throttle all out through the corner. But it's not just a simple hold the wheel left. I mean, he's got to work that thing back and forth. Sawing it to the right, sawing it to the left, just doing anything to get some grip out of that truck. When you're in dirty air like this, yes, I know it's early in the run, so you can run fast, but those Goodyears take a beating as well. Caleb Forsyth, wonder if maybe he got into the outside wall off of 4 here. He is really, really slowed up. Looks like he'll keep it together, though. No harm, no foul. So he'll continue going in the right direction. Next up for our driver cams tonight, Bryce Rayner, the driver out of Clark Summit, Pennsylvania. After having a good run last week, but feeling like he had a little bit more to put out there. Couldn't quite catch the 88 of Craig Janczak, so he's looking for some redemption here tonight, and those two have been showing phenomenal teamwork so far up to this point. We'll see if they can keep the domination going. And speaking of domination, how about the season for Craig Janczak? I mean, you look at pretty much what he's done in retrospect, and it's already plenty impressive enough, but if he's able to win here again tonight, I think that's kind of the cherry on top. But I know it counts as kind of the championship race, but I mean, obviously we already have basically crowned our champion with how good of a season it has been for Craig Janczak. 5 wins up to this point. I mean, just absolutely incredible. And he's going to be looking for number 6 here tonight. By the way, other winners this season, and a couple of, I think, the big name ones. Not too shocked to see James Harris find his way to victory lane once this season. And then 2 of the others that found victory lane this season was Kevin Kirchar and then Miguel Correa. And Miguel we have not seen since then, but nonetheless, Craig Janczak right now the season champion, so he is on a load of confidence, and his fresh tires seem to be working because he has now found his way all the way back up inside the top 5. He currently sits in 4th, and he's going to be looking for more here. See the 35 now, Blake Tidwell rocking the Alabama colors. Can he try to make a move? No, Janczak's going to beat him to it. They still remain 2 by 2 up front for the lead. They may go 3 wide here. James Harris trying to get this lead away. He knows how important clean air is. And speaking of fighting for the lead, how about your 2 leaders, the final 2 guys that we have carrying onboard views for us here tonight? As they stay side by side, their momentum's going to stall out here and give Janczak a chance to catch him every lap that they stay like this. But there you go. That's James Harris, the bottom right of your screen right now, working to the inside here of Toby Ritters. And for Toby, still looking for his first win of the season. Had great speed last week. Looking to try to build on that here tonight. 3 wide, still further out back. Ritters with another crossover move. So they continue to trade punches up front for 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. Really, the battling keeps going even further back than that. Bryce Rayner on the inside of Nathan Meyer right here. And by the way, for when that first pit stop could be, at least the general idea, 100% fuel. I don't think we would even really need to talk about that green flag stop until we got to, well, if I had to guess, probably somewhere maybe after lap 40, maybe even after lap 50. You figure we went back green with 10 laps complete. And I would think these trucks on a 2-mile track at most on 100% fuel could make it to around 40 laps or so, maybe even a little bit less than that, since they are going flat out. But if they made it that far, that gets you somewhere probably between lap 40, maybe lap 50. So that's the general range that we're looking at right now. But the point is, there is still a green flag pit stop that could be in play. And here we go. Janczak's got to run. Where's he going to go with it? Does he look to the middle? Does he look to the top? Or does he push James Harris? For now, he's going to stay tucked in line. The 88 and the 55 will pull clear of the lead as they work down into turn number 1. Janczak, though, is going to look for a little bit of clean air. He'll try to cut off the nose of Ritters. He's able to do that. Now Toby gets a little bit loose as they work through the center of the corner. Randy Richard going to try to take advantage of that. They are back to 3 wide for the 4th spot right now. And that outside seems to be where all the momentum is down the straights. The 35 of Blake Tidwell, though, ooh, looks like he got a little bit late into the corner right there and actually got up into the outside wall. Has to catch it and unfortunately loses some track position in the process. Well, Craig Janczak, I thought for sure the second he pushed James Harris clear here, he was going to try to make that move, but nothing yet. We'll see if he takes another dive into one this time. Yes, he will. This time, though, he gets the side draft as he works off into turn 1, but he's going to have to try to get clear. And that's the part of it that he's not able to do. Rolls pretty good through the center, but as he slides up, oh, man. Well, boy, I didn't think he was going to get clear, and I don't know if he did. It was really, really close, though. And he certainly still tried it. James Harris, though, Not having any of it. He keeps that lane for the moment. This time, though, looks like Janczak may be able to slide clear. And at some point, he's either going to have to shut the door or leave it open. Here comes the 99 of Bryce Rayner, though. The two teammates going to work together here on the bottom. That'll be all they need down the long front straightaway to get not just one, but both of them just about clear. The 55 of James Harris. Bryce Rayner, though, is going to stay tucked to the inside for now. He'll try to slide clear the 55 through 1 and 2, and he does that. And here comes James Harris back on the inside, and really this has kind of played a role this season. Teammates, right? I mean, you've got two Team Conti trucks versus a non-Team Conti truck, and for James Harris, that's definitely making it a little bit tougher at these style of racetracks. As good as he is, you still need a little bit of help. Is right there, just getting tight on the inside of Bryce Rayner, and you heard him have to lift out of the throttle. That's enough to get Bryce Rayner clear, and so now the two Team Conti trucks, a Chevy and a Toyota. Rayner and Janczak will both line up 1-2. So we are just about at the 1/3 point of this race. And just another lap here, but the 53, Randy Richard, back up a spot from where he started after falling 3 spots from where he started to kick off this race. But your biggest mover right now inside the top 10 is Blake Tidwell, who currently sits up 11 positions where he started this race from. He is in the A spot right now. If you're just tuning in, we appreciate you being here. You are watching the Auto Club 132 for the Grindstone Developments Truck Series in the final race of the season here at Auto Club. So far, so good. We've had one caution to note, a pretty big incident on the backstretch involving multiple trucks. And in fact, let's get an update on how some of those trucks are doing that were involved. John Legger currently sitting back in the 20th spot. Andrew Hale just in front of him. Those two trucks were involved in that last incident. The 19 didn't get major damage. It was more so the 4 that got the brunt of that one. And then Brian High, not involved in that last incident, but not the best run going for him right now as he currently sits in that 18th spot. And he's got the Fox's Pizza Den sponsor on his Ford F-150 here tonight, but he's going to be looking to try to figure out a little bit more speed maybe after this next pit stop or to the next caution if we were to get one. William Mann Jr. currently in the 17th spot. He's up a position from where he started this race at. Another good-looking paint scheme on board for William Mann Jr. here tonight. And Mann's maintenance, so there you go. Back up in the 16th position of George Young, the driver out of Dallas. Right now sitting in that 16th position. He's got Tyler Meeks in front of him, who's at the back of a pack consisting of Forsyth and Brad Thacker. Jason Taylor, another one of the trucks involved in that last incident. Jason Nethery, we believe, may have gotten a little bit of damage on the right front from that last incident, but he's back out on the racetrack now. And whoa, some contact there. So a couple of drivers racing right around the last couple of spots inside the top 10. We keep it nice and clean. 24 of 66 laps now on the book. Up front, the 88, Craig Janczak, continues to lead. And by the way, we keep mentioning that this is the end of the season, but these guys aren't done. In fact, the next season is just around the corner. They'll be kicking things off in about 20 days from tomorrow on March 25th. First track of next season going to be Homestead. They'll follow that up at Martinsville. Then it's off to Talladega Super Speedway before heading to Bristol, then Rockingham, then Dover. We'll kick off May at Texas Motor Speedway, followed by Kansas on May 13th. And then it'll be, North Wilkesboro on May 20th, followed by Charlotte Motor Speedway, and then off to Nashville Super Speedway and back to Michigan to round out the 12-race schedule next season. And by the way, if you're interested in joining or getting involved with these guys in any way, we do have the link to the league, or the league Discord, I should say, in the description of this video, so make sure you check that out. And if you need it, I can certainly put it in the chat as well. Just let me know. Well, things have started to finally single file out a bit, and this is kind of typical Michigan, typical Auto Club fashion, where it takes a while, right? The tires have to wear out enough to where guys can start to kind of have to single file out because they just can't really stay side by side. Now, that's not going to be the case through the entire field. In fact, back here for the 7th and 8th position, Kevin Kirchar are still trying to hold off Toby Ritters and 35 of Blake Tidwell. And so those two, I should say those three, were side by side there for just a moment. And then a little bit further back, we got the 776 of Caleb Forsyth still trying to rip that top lane. And he'll get clear of the 99 of Meeks. But again, the general idea here is that as the run goes on, the first thing you're going to see is everybody start to single file out. That'll be kind of phase one. And then phase two, as these tires wear out even more, is you're going to start to see these guys build some separation amongst each other. And that separation is always based on who saves more tire than others. Again, if you use your stuff up, you'll be fast early, but you'll be slow late. If you save your tires, you might be a little bit slow early, but you'll be fast late. That's the general idea of it. But for Craig Janczak, he's got the bonus of clean air, which is kind of, I would say, the thing that rules above all. You get clean air, you get more downforce on that truck, and tire wear does not affect you nearly as bad as it does to others in the wake. And for Bryce Rayner, that might be playing some of the havoc right now, where he just cannot seem to quite get up to the back bumper of Janczak here. He's gotten close, but this seems like kind of where he's topped out at. And again, the draft is your best friend down these straightaways. It helps him pull right up, not right up to the back bumper, but it certainly shaves off almost at least a tenth or so. But then as they get into the corner here, Rayner doesn't want to be in the wake. When he's in the wake, he loses some of that front downforce, and it causes the truck to not turn as well. So at that point, Rayner's looking for some clean air in the corner and then draft down the straight, but slowly but surely he continues to lose a little bit of time. In fact, notice the time delta there on the bottom right of your screen. See that kind of smooth, steady slope? That is because up front, Craig Janczak continues to stretch that gap out between himself and Bryce Rayner, now having it up to just about 0.7 of a second as they cross the line this time. So you'll see that slope get even bigger. But nonetheless, once we have that green flag stop, that can make or break a race. Doesn't matter how far out you are in front. If you make a mistake, and you're going to lose that lead in a hurry. And we're just now getting closer to the halfway point. Now, I mentioned how far you could go on that fuel window to maybe right around lap 50. But at the same time, if you're one of these guys that want to try some strategy, then you could also pit at the beginning of that fuel window, which was, well, we've already had it now. I mean, we're well within 40 laps to go. Well, you might want to go a little longer. I'd say probably right around maybe 30 laps to go is when the fuel window would safely open. So in that case, we're still about 6 laps away or so from that point. But the other point I'm going to make here is that if somebody wants to try to short pit, it'll work out in the short game. I mean, once everything cycles out, you will be the leader. But the problem is you're going to have to try to defend, which is really, really tough to do here, especially on old tires. We'll just have to see how the strategy plays out. And man, you're seeing the handling start to go away further back there, as that was Kevin Kirchar, who had a big, big moment right there off of turn 2. Almost lost that truck, but he saves it. Keeps his momentum up. 69 just behind him there, Stephen Pless. Going to get some momentum here, and Kirchar's either going to have to slide up or stay committed to the bottom, and it looks like he'll stay committed to the bottom. And then Tidwell going to get a little bit of draft down the front stretch. And by the way, it may not end up being too much of a factor here tonight, but notice that white line on the bottom of the racetrack here at Auto Club. You can go below that line. There is no rule that you have to stay above it. That's only at the super speedways of Daytona, Talladega, and then Atlanta, but obviously not in play here tonight. So down the back stretch, down the front stretch, you can go as low as you want, and even in the corners. Now, at Auto Club, you used to see some drivers actually go below the apron in 3 and 4, where really it seemed like kind of that apron matched the banking of the banking, but not so much anymore, at least not on these trucks. And again, it's a very, very rough surface. It's an old racetrack. They don't run it anymore in real life. And so these guys here tonight are getting to experience how much slipping and sliding you do on this worn out of a racing surface, even if the track temp is cool and there is a lot of grip. Another one of the factors that's going to be playing into these drivers, I don't know if I want to say, obviously not their favor, but it's certainly going to be playing into the equation, I should say, tonight, is that sun. Right there as he enters turn 3. You see it finally disappear behind the billboards. But going down the backstretch here, right after you come off of turn 2, all the way down the back and into turn 3, that sun is pretty much right in your eyes as a driver, and sometimes that can kind of make it harder to interpret the line that you're trying to run. As we go a little bit further back now, here's James Harris setting up a pass on Jamison Correa. We'll see if he's able to get that spot right here. And for Harris, that'll put him back up into the podium position, at least for the moment. And how about the paint scheme that James Harris is running here tonight? The league sponsor, Grindstone Developments. And of course, I know James Harris has said it before, and we'll say it again on behalf of PGR eSports and the Grindstone Developments Truck Series. We thank and appreciate Grindstone Developments for all that they do for this series, for these guys, and helping put this on and allowing them to race for all that they do. And it's always fun when you have a league sponsor, and I know a lot of these guys care a lot about representing them. Good to see the 55 of James Harris running a grindstone scheme to round out this season. He'll get that spot again with Jameson Correa. These two continue to battle it out. I know I just mentioned probably 5 laps or so ago that once tires were out, we don't see much double file, but these two seem to be an exception, at least for the moment. We'll see if James Harris now can maybe hold this position and keep Correa at bay for now at least. And by the way, we are officially over the halfway point in this 132-mile, 66-lap event. As Jameson starts to slip now just a little bit, Randy Richard took a peek for just a moment there, but it didn't look like he was able to really make anything happen. So he'll try to set up again. There's the roll bar view for Randy Richard. And again, you've got so much going on here because it's a big arc into the corner, but at the same time, if you try to wait too long to arc it in, you could have a guy go to your inside. Once the tires were out, a lot of different lanes open up, but right now it seems like a majority of these guys are running the top. I think you're going to see kind of the polar opposite once we go back up front. Everybody's still up trying to run the bottom. But once you feel like your truck has kind of lost speed and you're just looking for any grip you can, that's usually kind of shown when drivers start to shift to the top, that they're searching. And the top has some pretty good speed here, especially on fresher tires, but as they continue to wear out, it's going to be interesting to see how things develop. We're probably now, well, obviously we're in that fuel window, but I was going to say we're about 10 to 14 laps away, I would think, from maybe seeing that first and only round of green flag pit stops. So we're going to go ahead and take our first break tonight. We'll go side by side so you don't miss a thing. Stick with us. We'll be back at Auto Club.
I played a couple of simulators and this was like very responsive, especially the hydraulics and stuff, the motion and stuff was really, really on point.
But you feel like you're really driving, it feels real.
It adds so much to the experience. It's just really, really cool.
It was pretty awesome.
Have created our own drink company. The fastest growing sports drink in history.
We will run! We will run! Ladies and gentlemen, the rookie is prime! This season, we are hydrated!
The official sports drink of the UFC. It's time! Oh, that's good.
Green flag is in the air. We are racing. 3 by 3. Almost no trouble. Around goes Alex Hill. On into the outside wall goes Hill. They're wrecking big time out back. We're not going to throw a caution. Finish. Who gets it in the line? Cody Nagels wins it in Talladega.
We'll go back to Auto Club Speedway. Looks like pit stops maybe on the way here for a few drivers. Kevin Kirchar and William Mann Jr. both in the pits here for service. William Mann Jr. obviously going to lose some spots, but again, we expect this to be the one and only green flag stop of the night. So as the 29 now gets back rolling to leave pit road, it'll be all about a question of when the leaders decide to make their stops. Craig Janczak still out in front. No big change there. Bryce Rayner second. No big change there. The big race, but you saw a lot of battle when we were on break there, was these three right here. Jameson Correa, Randy Richard, and James Harris, who dueled it out there for a little while. Now James Harris looks like maybe starting to struggling with the handling of that truck or the grips going away. Either way, he may have to consider pitting pretty soon, as we have now officially hit 25 laps to go here at Auto Club. So James Harris continues to run 5th. Tyler Meeks 6th. And here's Stephen Pless now making his pit stop. And I believe that is now your 3rd or 4th driver to bring it in for service. 69, once he pulls into his box, you'll see the right side go up first and then the left side after. That is indicating that he is getting those right side fresh Goodyear tires, and then he'll obviously get the left sides as well. As I believe, do we have another pit stop here? Yes, we do. We got your 2 leaders coming in. Craig Janczak, Bryce Rayner. Look like they both get in very, very smoothly. That's probably not what the rest of the field wanted to see, but that's exactly what these 3 needed to do. As they're going to get another taker further back. That's James Harris, who's going to try to match these 2. Maybe can somehow catch up here on these fresher tires, but as they all work their way down to the boxes, cannot afford to make a mistake right here. They know that, but you can't state it enough. So that'll hand the lead over for the moment to Jameson Correa, Randy Richard, and Tyler Meeks. And you're going to have trucks cycling everywhere. You're going to have some trucks trying to get their lap back, other trucks battling for the lead. At the same time, you're going to have different trucks trying to pit. It's going to get messy here, but there's the 4 tires and fuel for Janczak. He pulls out of his stall, followed by Bryce Rayner, and then the 55 of James Harris. A little bit later here, and he pulls out of the box. Just way too much distance between himself and the leaders here. He's going to need a caution, as now the 53 of Randy Richard and the 81 of Jameson Correa make their pit stop. And so again, that will change hands of the lead. This time it'll go to Tyler Meeks. Brian High still out on the racetrack, and you almost wonder if these 2 are going to consider trying to gamble here and just hope for a caution before they run out of fuel. Although they don't have all that many more laps that they can stay out for that strategy to necessarily play out, even if we were to get a caution, which, separated as things are getting right now, certainly looking less and less likely. All right, so here you go. The 81 can work his way out of the pit stall as the 53 of Randy Richard. Looks to be a little bit long here. I wonder if he's sitting with penalty or had an issue. I'm thinking Randy Richard must have had a penalty here. That's certainly what it looks like. You see him just sitting at the driver's cockpit right now, staring, no hands on the wheel. And that tells me he got a penalty, but oh, caution. Caution is out on the racetrack. Did not expect this one. And who is it? Jameson Correa with some trouble, it looks like. Saw some smoke off the corner. Wonder if he maybe spun out trying to get back up to speed. And that is going to change everything. What a weird time for the caution here. Right in the middle of pit cycles, but I think for the most part everybody had made their stop, or was at least getting service at the time of caution, and the strategy for Tyler Meeks and Brian High may very well work out. All right, let's see here. I don't know if this was necessarily the 81 that had the issue, but oh, it was. It indeed was. So here you go. Jameson Correa trying to get off the pits here. It's a flat apron, but it's very inviting to try to go really, really fast, and as he's trying to get back up to speed, starting to push it, now he's loose, and then as he starts to get loose, eventually the truck snaps on him. You know, although I will say, I'm really shocked that that brought out the caution. I mean, he started to spin, but he saved it. He drove out of it. We didn't even get any data on a truck wrecking. That's pretty much the system's way of saying it didn't even really recognize much of a wreck here, but clearly iRacing did. And I mean, the rear tires get up on the racetrack briefly while he's sideways, but again, very quickly straightens it out. Obviously, the 69 is Stephen Pless there arriving on scene. That could have been a little dicey for him, but no harm, no foul. Nobody gets any damage from this. All it really does is shake up the strategy. You see a little bit of smoke there. But overall, that was a really, really good save by the 81 of Correa. And he does catch a break. As a result, obviously, he gets a caution there. If that would have happened without a caution, he would have certainly lost a ton of track position. So as we give you 1 or 2 more angles of this before we go back live, man, this is really going to shake up the aggression level of this race. There's the static view. There's a couple of trucks go racing by on the outside. All right, so we'll go back live now and set you up for what's going to be a pretty crazy restart. I'll tell you why in just a moment. Craig Janczak being scored as your leader. Bryce Rayner second. Kevin Kirchar third with Stephen Pless in fourth. Tyler Meeks currently rounding out your top five. Well, up front with Janczak and Rayner, it's going to be a strong duo to beat. But here's the thing. Caution this late sets up for a lot of interesting strategy play. And here's what the pit stop looked like here for who pit. I don't think it was very many, but I wanted to show you just in case there was anybody that we missed here or anybody up front that decided to pit. I see a couple of interesting names to pit here, but I don't see a lot of your leaders that went into pit. Obviously, a lot of people feeling like track position just too important at this time to necessarily give up. And so it'll be a restart with, it looks like probably 19 laps to go. Now, everybody on pretty similar tires up here, but you've now grouped the field back together. And when you have a restart within 20 to go, I feel like as a driver, you kind of assume that there's going to be enough aggression where you could very well see another caution or two at the very least. And if I'm thinking that, or, I mean, heck, if I'm even one of these guys that just feels like I can't necessarily find more speed than the 88 and the 99 in the long run, you get up on the wheel right here and get aggressive, try to get some track position, and just kind of see how the chips fall from there. But that's kind of the first step in the process, and there's a lot of heavy hitters up here in the top 5, top 10 that are going to have something to say about it here now that these tires have had a chance to cool down. Now, again, these tires are all worn out. Not all worn out. I meant to say for everybody up in the front here, they are worn a bit. And so once they get hot again, you're going to see these guys maybe get a little racy for a little bit, but then they're going to separate again depending on if we go green the rest of the way. So a lot of interesting setups here. We're going to have to see how they all unfold, but if you're just tuning in, picked a good time to do so. We appreciate you being here. As you are watching the Auto Club 132 for the Grindstone Developments Truck Series here at Auto Club. We've had 2 cautions to note of so far. One was a wreck earlier near the start of the race on about lap 5 or 6 that collected quite a few drivers. And then this most recent caution, I wouldn't even call it a half. I would say a quarter spin for the 81 machine of Jamison Correa off the track. Brought out the caution, but no damage to any trucks in that one. So everybody is ready to get back to it. Sun continues to set. And by the way, we mentioned track temp at the start earlier. You look at that track temp now, it's about the same. If anything, it's cooled down just a degree more. So the speed is going to go up. And here we go. The iRacing.com pace car makes a left turn down to the pits as we work our way back into the Geico restart zone. Green flag back in the air. 19 laps to go at Auto Club. And right out of the gate, James Harris immediately split 3 wide. Now he's going to work his way all the way up to the top lane in front of the 13 of Brian High. Watches the field. Works their way down into turn number 1. Everybody going to fan out here to try to find any real estate they can to try to work with. And man, 4 wide out back. Toby Ritter's got squeezed there, but he finds a spot. What a move by the 35 of Blake Tidwell here, who I believe is on fresh tires compared to everybody else. And watch this 35 once they get down into the corner. I mean, you would think he'd be able to carry a fairly significant amount more speed through the center. And he does so. He's able to get right up alongside the 24, but he won't be able to get any further yet. Starts to slide up, and as they work across the line now, first lap back under green, and it goes to Craig Janczak in the 88. Him and Bryce Rayner trying the same strategy that they tried last week and that they were trying earlier. Don't race each other right now. Just get together and try to pull away. And once they do that, then they'll get racy as we go on from there. Further back, the 69 trying to get in line now. Just behind him, how about Kevin Kirchar, Jamison Correa going at it, and here comes James Harris trying to work his way back to the front. That's another driver that you kind of feel like if we can have a short run here at the end and he's got fresh tires, he's going to have as good of a shot as anybody out here to try to go up here and get the job done. Tidwell has since stalled after getting up to the 24 of Nathan Meyer. He's not been able to go any further, at least not yet, but he's going to continue to look here as the laps start to wind down all the way towards the back here. The 53 of Randy Richard, Jason Nethery, Jason Taylor. I mean, this is really where the biggest gaggle of trucks is. 2 and even 3 wide back to where Jason Nethery was, but it gets back down to 2 wide. Randy Richard going to look for a spot as he jumps in. Caleb Forsyth jumps out. And it'll be just 16 laps to go when they cross the line this next time. And I think if we're going to get another caution, it's going to be back here as, whoa, Randy Richard, some slight contact. He's going to turn the 13 of Brian High hard into the outside wall. High's going to come down, collects another truck. Now he spins caution is out. And now we'll see a restart inside 15 laps to go. As the 13 of Brian High gets it back rolling. He does have some damage, though, to both the right rear of that race truck, and it looks like the right front as well. Excuse me, I apologize if I said Randy Richard. I meant to say Brian High. Randy Richard was the truck that obviously got collected as part of this, and really you could argue maybe sparked it here. It looked like there was some contact. These two have been starting to squeeze each other, and I almost could kind of see it coming right there, but was wondering if they were going to save it. And the answer is they do not. So let's go back and look at how it actually unfolded right here. So there you see Randy Richard. I know this isn't the best view, so we'll see if we can zoom this in a little bit more for you right here. All right, watch Randy Richard, middle of your screen. And that all-white 53 truck, and then the 13, green and white of Brian High up top. So there's Randy Richard looking for that middle, and it does look like right there the 13's coming down on him. There's the first set of contact. And at this point, looks like Brian High is still just really, really squeezing him. Obviously, if that was earlier in the race, maybe Richard bails out, gets back in line. But this late, nobody's lifting. I mean, if there's a spot there, you got to go for it. Now, obviously, I don't think that the 43 necessarily expected Randy to make that move in that spot. But, I mean, here's another view of it. I think this one might actually do it even a little better. All right, so there you go. Randy Royal right there. It's hard to argue. There's a small gap, but I do think at the same time, Randy doesn't quite get that truck turned down as much as he thinks he's going to. There's the first set of contact. Now Randy's under him, but he's just going to start to slide up a little bit. So actually, from that view, might move that one a little bit more towards Randy Richard here. But again, it's really, I mean, you don't put the blame fully on either of them for just doing something silly. I mean, they're going after it here at the end of the race. You got to get aggressive to have a shot at these things at the end, and their view right there. There's Randy Richard trying to get under him. And right there is the contact that's going to start to get Brian High out of shape. Turns him around, and then there's the big hit into the outside while Richard keeps going after he sneaks by initially here. Then Brian High, you assume either a broken suspension or just the hit itself. Eventually shooting that truck off the outside wall. He gets down into George Young, who kind of looks like net codes through him, but still spins the 13 back around. Draws the caution. And he's definitely got some damage that he's going to have to go try to get worked on after this one. By the way, it's just your third caution of the night here. I know we sped that up. We'll back this up a little bit more and watch it again. There's the initial contact for High as he spins down. Truck spins back out. That's about the extent of it. One final view of this here from TV2. And, you know, like I said, Randy, again, does have a chance to back out of it. But this late in the race, you're not lifting. I mean, if it's close, you feel like you're there. And, again, from the cockpit view, it's so hard to judge in these trucks. I mean, it might look like there's a full lane there, even if it's close. And we'll go back all the way here to right around turn 3 and go to the onboard view here for Randy Richard. And look at it. He's trying to sneak in that gap. If he can get there, he's going to get a big run. But it's not quite. Right there is what actually turns him around. Just hard racing, but yeah, that's a tough break for the 13 of Brian High. It looks like kind of there was more so minding his P's and Q's. Not collected. Nonetheless, lights are off on the pace car, and now we've had a bit of a split in strategy play. A lot of your front runners decided to take tires. Some of the drivers who either already took tires or deciding to just stay out are up at the front, including the 24 of Nathan Meyer, Blake Tidwell, who did take tires on that last stop along with Meyer. They're both on the front row. So we'll see how fresh those tires still are after that last relatively short run that we had. Then you've got the 15 of Jason Taylor on the inside of row 2. John Legger on the outside. Andrew Hale, the 99 of Tyler Meeks back in row 3. And there's Craig Janzak, first truck on brand new tires, sitting back in the 8th spot. So he's got some work to do, but he's going to have a teammate in the 99 of Rayner to try to do it with. And we'll see if they can both get up to the front. And here we go. It'll be 13 laps remaining.
Green flag,
We got the
green
2-mile oval located in Hollywood, California. Green flag back in the air. We are back underway. The 24 with a good jump. Nathan Meyer quickly out to a lead. He'll pull Jason Taylor single file as well as they work into turn 1. Watch out back here. I think the Janzak is going to be going like a bull in a china shop right here. He has got to get through and get to these leaders here as quick as possible. He doesn't want to get caught and trapped further back in case either the leader pulls away or we were to get another caution. And Janzak absolutely flying. To the bottom he goes. 3 wide in turn 3. Andrew Hale forced to stay in the middle. Taylor up top. Janzak's trying to clear, but he slides up. Andrew Hale's got to bail out of the throttle. Tidwell's going to cross him all over. Tidwell's got a big run. Where's he going to go with it? Does he stay in line or does he drop a lane lower? Looks like for now he'll stay tucked in line as they work down the front stretch. And man, I think Andrew Hale may have lifted, and if he did, that may have saved a wreck. Janzak was inches away from getting clear, but right as he started to slide up, that middle lane started to roll again, and man, that was almost a really bad situation, but they all keep it together for now as further back. Tidwell trying to block Bryce Rayner for that third spot rather, and now they're going to get even racier behind as there are still 2 and 3 wide here. The 53 of Randy Richard looking to the inside of John Legger, and now the 4 of Andrew Hale gets in the wall. Bryce Rayner's in the wall. He's going to get turned. They're all going to wreck. They're going to all pile it up on the front stretch. Big hits. Caution is out. Randy Richards is in it. Toby Ritters is involved. The 55 of James Harris almost gets clipped right at the end. George Young trying to sneak through. Bryce Rayner, though, after a great night, all night, now finds himself caught up with damage. I don't know how bad it is from this view. Yeah, the rear end of that truck certainly not looking too good. And now this is going to give us a restart within 10 to go. And yeah, you see more damage on the left front. So this will definitely be a fast repair here for Bryce Rayner. And what happened to cause the big one part 2 here tonight to unfold on the front stretch? As is the 35 of Tidwell. I think just going to run a little too hard right here. Let's see. Go all the way back here. First, let's go to the chopper view. Then we'll get on board with Blake Tidwell. You see Tidwell up there. Yeah, I think Tidwell's just running too hard. I think that's the best way I'd put it here is, and you know, it's nothing he's doing wrong. He's going for it at the end, but it's just his truck doesn't have that much grip. He's trying to get in the throttle, but it's just getting tight on him. And of course, you got the 99 of Bryce Rayner up there. I mean, look at it. Front tires just, well, I don't know. Certainly looked like there was an opportunity to put a little bit more wheel to the left than he did right here. I wonder if he maybe didn't realize that Rayner was up there or something of that nature. But either way, once they get together right here, kind of the top of the exit of the corner right there, there's the contact. Rayner doesn't have any room. He's got nowhere to go. Tidwell gets into him and ping-pongs him a couple times into the outside wall. And then once Bryce Rayner's in the outside wall, they're going to wreck now towards the bottom of the racetrack. As it looks like that's the 19 of Legger, and is it Randy Richard that gets collected with him? And indeed it is. So Legger sees this. They're all checking up and stacking up on the top. So he's going to go to dive low. He doesn't realize that Randy Richard's down there. He's just trying to avoid the wreck. And in the process, he just goes right across the nose of Randy Richard, turns himself around in the grass. He gets up in the air, and then there's that big hit for Randy Richard. That was a huge shot. And the 99 of Tyler Meeks, who also had nowhere to go. As this all unfolded, watch it again. There's the 19. Gets up in the air, almost over, but never quite flips. Toby Ritters is well involved as he gets into the grass. That truck was also close to going up and over here, but it looks like it also lands back on all 4. It was really Randy Richard, I think, who takes the brunt of this one, and then everybody swerving to miss it right here at the end. I think most of them do so. Brad Thacker sneaks by at the last second. Well, you saw the onboard view for Blake Tidwell. How about for Bryce Rayner here? This is an unfortunate feeling as a driver when you see a truck coming up that you kind of realize it at the last second here. And I mean, Rayner's saying, listen, man, I can't go any higher. There's a wall there. And obviously, once that contact starts, he gets slammed out back from Tyler Meeks. And the wreck's on from there. A couple of big hits for a couple of drivers who had really good days. A couple of drivers who had good comeback days. And all that progress is now probably going to be halt with this incident right here. Watch it again from our TV3 view. There's that big hit for Richard. Almost goes under the catch fence before that truck was able to ultimately set itself back down on the racetrack. All right, so as we go back live now, up front, Nathan Meyer still being scored as your leader, but he's got a very fast and a fresh tire, Craig Janzak, on his outside. Do lights go off this time? Yes, they do. So we'll line up for a 7-lap-to-go restart. Back in row 2, it's going to be Andrew Hale and Jamison Correa, with Jason Taylor and Kevin Kirchar back in row number 3. Well, if you're just tuning in, again, we appreciate you being here. We're watching the Auto Club 132 for the Grindstone Developments Truck Series, final race of the season. And by the way, again, another shout out to your season champion. Mathematically has already secured the championship via points, and, well, it's one spot back. I was going to say your pole sitter, and probably getting ready to be your current leader, or your future leader, I should say, and that's your Truck Series champion, Craig Janzak, who, again, currently sits in second, but has fresher tires, and I think arguably has been the fastest truck of the night. But Meyer was holding strong with these guys earlier in the season, so you never know. We'll have to wait and see how things play out. But this could very well be the final restart. We'll see if these guys can get it cleaned up. 7 laps is not a long way, but it's still enough laps to where I think if you're Craig Janzak here, you don't overdrive it. Take your time. You do have plenty of time to work with right here. You know, 7 laps to go. I'd say if you were back in 8th, which is what he was on the last restart, yes, you got to go. But you know, second here and first on the outside row, he's not going to have to get too desperate. But you know he's going to want that lead. All right, iRacing.com pace car going to make the left turn yet again. Single digits. Who's going to win it? Here we go. Back into the Geico restart zone. 24 of Nathan Meyer hits the gas. He gets the better acceleration. Green flag in the air, just 7 to go here at Auto Club. Good restart for the 24. He really wanted to pull the 4 of Andrew Hale clear as well, and he does. Can Hale hold off Janzak for a lap or 2? That may be all the 24 needs, as Andrew Hale's trying to cut off the nose, but he doesn't have the grip to do it. Here comes Craig Janzak on the inside as they work off at turn 2. And caution is out, trouble out back. Multiple trucks going around right here. George Young hard off the inside wall, it looks like. Brian Highs into the outside wall. Jason Taylor's in it. So now we will head for a restart. That'll be probably about 3 laps to go. And now all of a sudden, if you're Craig Janzak, you might be starting to sweat it out just a little bit here. Because I think this might put him back to 3rd. And with 6 to go, and that restart of only 3 to go, that's given Nathan Meyer a much more realistic chance to potentially try to hold off the very fast 88 truck here. Maybe a late restart. All right, let's go back and see what brings out now what I believe is your 4th or 5th caution of the night. Let's watch George Young here. This is coming off at turn number 2. Does the 48 just get loose, or is there trouble in front of him that he has to dodge? No, there's going to be trouble in front. And there it is, the 15. Jason Taylor, that's who he collides with. And actually, I thought that the 48 hit the inside wall, but he didn't. That fender that flew off was actually just from contact that he inquired with Jason Taylor. So that's, I guess, somewhat good news for George Young. But that was still hard enough of a hit here where the damage is going to probably make him have to go in and get some repairs. What gets Taylor turned around here? I have a feeling he just gets loose. One thing we haven't seen tonight, but I have seen it plenty of times before here at these 2-mile ovals. That first lap, cold tires, you got to be really careful. You try to push a little too hard, you get loose. And it looked like that was exactly what happened right here to Jason. As they're coming through 1 and 2, he starts to get loose, and as he does so, the 69 of Stephen Pless has a big run, and not really anywhere to go with it. As tags him in the left rear, that sends him up the track, and the 55 James Harris obviously also nowhere to go. Spins the 15 out as he goes down the track. George Young gets collected, nowhere to go, and then, ooh, man, late in that wreck, you saw Brian High at the top right of your screen get kind of turned way after they got past the incident, so that's a tough break for him as there's Taylor going around, and boom, there's the contact again. And for George Young right there, again, that could have been a whole lot worse had he have hit that inside wall, but watch right there. I mean, just nowhere for George Young to go. He's turning as far left as he can. And unfortunately, just not able to quite dodge it. And then here you go. So for Brian High, it looks like he's okay. And then Toby Ritters with a great big run tries to dodge him. And in the process, just tags him in that left rear. I'm a little surprised to see that happen. I wonder if the 13 just slowed up way quicker than the 3 expected, or what happened here? Let's go on board with Toby Ritters to find out. So there's the wreck. Toby dodges the 29. He's full gas, and then just never really checks up. I'm not sure if the caution wasn't out at that point. I think that would be kind of the assumption. But that's obviously a tough break for Brian High. He did a great job missing the wreck, and unfortunately gets collected in kind of a second part of it here. And we'll watch this part again one more time. You almost wonder if maybe this was what ended up bringing out the caution, although I think it was the incident down low. There's the 13 getting turned into the outside concrete before he straightens it back out and keeps going in the right direction. All right, so again, now we'll see a restart here. See if we got the 1-to-go signal this time. 4 laps to go. We did. All right, so it will be a 3-lap shootout. That's a little bit better news for Janczak. That's 1 extra lap than what it would be if we get either another caution or if we would have already went to either a 2-lap shootout or overtime. But front row here is going to be Andrew Hale and Nathan Meyer. And if Andrew Hale holds up that 88 truck for just about a lap, that still may not be enough because Janczak just so much faster on those fresher tires. It's going to be interesting to see, that is for sure. And the other thing that you may have noticed now is that sun still at a very, very, very tough angle here for these drivers. It's going to make that hard to judge where you enter turn 3 at. I mean, that's pretty much when the sun's at just about the worst possible angle that it could be at for these drivers. But Craig Janczak looking to end what has been a storybook and absolute dominating season here with 1 final win. Nathan Meyer trying to steal it, looking for his first win. Andrew Hale trying to do the same. Both are in great position. And a couple of the other trucks that I was going to note were going to be some of the trucks involved in not that last wreck, but the one before that. Although they didn't make it far enough up where I think it's going to necessarily matter all that much. By the way, if we get to the white flag, this race will be official. Let's see if we can make it happen. All right, here we go. iRacing.com pace car makes a left turn again, maybe for the final time. 3 laps to decide the winner of the final race of the season. Green flag back in the air. It's a stack up on the outside, but a good jump for your leader. Nathan Meyer quickly going to pull clear. He'll jump to the inside to try to draft Andrew Hale. And as they all shift up to 3rd gear to the top of the racetrack, goes the 24. He'll now work down into the turn. Andrew Hale going to try to fend off that 88 truck of Craig Janczak as long as he can, but it's going to be a tough one to try to fend off. Hale back up top. The 24 still with the lead. Janczak, where's he going to look? He's trying to force Andrew Hale into a decision. Now they're both going to split 2 ways. Oh, Hale's going to get turned. Trying to save it. Can he hold on to it? I thought he was going to take out the leader in the process. Andrew Hale's going to save it, but he goes into the outside wall in the process. The blocking doesn't work out for Andrew Hale, and now as we go back up front, Craig Janczak, when's he going to make the move on the 24 of Nathan Meyer? Here comes Kevin Kirchar. A few others trying to put their name in the mix. The 88 of Janczak, will he look low through the corner? Yes, he does. Going to go to the middle, but here comes Kirchar. 3 wide down the backstretch. Can Kirchar hold even? No, he can't. Instead, he'll duck in line. Now the 88 of Janczak looks to block off into turn 3. And for Meyer, not much he can do. He's either have to look for a crossover move or try to get a run off of 4. Otherwise, Janczak may have the tires to hold on. And here we go, white flag in the air. 1 lap to go, 1 more time around Auto Club. Can Craig Janczak hold him off to grab 1 more win? And the 24 is getting a big push down the straight, but he's going to have to stay close here in the corner. Nathan Meyer, what can he do? Kevin Kirchar trying to hold on. He's going to spin out back. That'll cause a wreck between a couple of them. Meanwhile, Janczak, as he works onto the back stretch, plenty lead right now. He's got at least 2 truck lengths on the 24. I don't think Nathan Meyer is going to have enough. Final time into turn number 3 here at Auto Club. Off of turn 4, Meyer's going to give it 1 last shot, but there's not going to be anything there. Look at this. Janczak going to go home a champion and a 6-time race winner. He wins it at Auto Club. Craig Janczak grabs another win. Nathan Meyer holds on to 2nd, and it's Jamison Correa rounding out your podium. Man, he had to work for that one at the end, but him and Andrew Hale, boy, that was a sketchy moment just as the lights are coming on here on the racetrack. That was really close to those two getting together. Well, they did get together, but close to the 88. Craig Janczak getting himself taken out in the process. It's just really, really aggressive racing there at the end. I think the 4 truck knew he had to do everything he could to try to hold off Janczak. Just couldn't quite do it, and I'll tell you what, if that would have been a 2-lap shootout to decide it, I think that Nathan Meyer may have had a shot. But that extra lap was what Janczak really needed to get himself just enough breathing room to not have to worry about any sort of dive bomb or crazy move or anything of that nature. and the 24 on that last lap. Craig Janzak's going to burn it down here on the front stretch. The final time this season as he does so. Look at your finishing results here for the night. Again, your race winner and season champion, Craig Janzak for the 88 Team Conti machine, as Nathan Meyer takes home second tonight. Jameson Correa finishes on the podium in that third spot. It's James Harris back in fourth with Caleb Forsyth in fifth. And then you've got Randy Richard back in sixth, Jason Ethery seventh, Bryce Rayner in eighth with Brad Thacker in ninth, and William Mann Jr. rounding out your top 10. John Legger finishes in 11th. It's going to be Stephen Pless in 12th with Andrew Hale in 13th. Then you've got Toby Ritters back in 14th. George Young finishes in the 15th spot with Brian High back in 16th. Jason Taylor in 17th. Then you've got Blake Tidwell in 18th. Kevin Kirchar 19th. Tyler Meeks rounds out the field tonight in 20th. All right, well, as Craig Janzak continues to celebrate, we're going to go grab your top 3 for interviews. Stick with us. We'll be right back at Auto Club. All right, going to start first here tonight with your winner, and not only winner, but season champion, and that is the 88 machine of Craig Janzak. Craig, this is Austin up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir. I've got a copy.
Well, you get the win number 6. More importantly, the season's over. You're the season champion. What a way to finish things out, but man, you had to sweat it out there at the end. Tell us about those last 3 laps.
Oh my God, dude. Firstly, Andrew Hale and I did have a great conversation, and we've raced each other clean for seasons on end. And I do feel really bad about the contact. He said no big deal. We were turning in really, really early there. I don't know if that was because Nathan was also there, but I feel bad that it came to that blow because I wanted him to have a good finish. But I mean, what a sweat fest from start to finish, really. I mean, even when you consider the long green flag run that we had, Auto Club is so on edge every lap that it was hard fought for every moment that we were in the lobby here tonight. Even qualifying was edgy. So I can't be happier to put the Team Conti Sim Performance 88 Silverado in victory lane one more time, and to have a season championship as well. It feels great, man. It feels great.
Absolutely. And again, hard fought here tonight, but we look ahead to next season, which is not that far away. In fact, less than a month, and we've seen the schedule. It's been released. How do you go get prepped? What's the focus? And is there any goals or any changes that you look to make for next season?
Yeah, well, Austin, it's bittersweet for me to get the championship. I'm being iRating limited out of participating in future seasons. As well as this league is going to go fixed setup racing. It's not the first time that I've been iRating limited out, but I and my Team Conti teammates have been showing quite a lot of disrespect through this season. So I've already been removed of my admin role for no reason that I'm aware of. So it's a very, very bittersweet type of feeling. I've made personal friends in real life through this league. I've been a part of it for 4.5 years. And I've made personal friends. I've made, iRacing friends and the like. And, the actions of a few poor have unfortunately come to this blow. And I do hate that. But the ones that have been kind and gracious to myself and to my teammates, I can't thank them enough, really. Kevin Kirchner has supported this league from its foundation back in late 2020 when I first joined. And it feels really, really good to have that type of support, good people in your corner like that. And everybody that has met us so graciously. He's brought sponsorship from Champion Power Equipment and Green Mountain Grills and Grindstone Developments and all these different things that that have realistically created insurmountable memories for me as an iRacer. And it sucks, but it's amazing at the same time to to get to do these things for people like that.
Absolutely. Well, Craig, then in that case, for the final time this season, before we let you head out to win and to be a champion, is there anyone you want to thank or shout out?
Yeah, huge thanks to you guys, PGR eSports. Not just for this broadcast. Austin, you're incredible. I hope that you use this as a stepping stone for you to continue very successfully throughout broadcasting. And everybody in your corner at PGR, thank you for coming on and bringing us with you. It's been an awesome whole season. I mean, the quality of your broadcast, not just picture-wise, but content-wise, is next to none. So thank you. And thanks to everybody that supported me, Team Conti Sim Performance, Digital Sim Sports, Martin PC Studio 3, Freeburn Hot Wings Morning Show. I'm so thankful for them. I'm so thankful for my mom, my dad, Aunt Sandy, my girlfriend Anna. They watch week in and week out and allow me to do these things for fun, and it's just it's a great group of people that I've got, man, and it is actually hard to I wasn't sure how I was going to feel in this moment, because I've known for a little bit now that this was going to be the outcome, and realistically I feel depressed that this is the end. But all you can do is look back on things positively, and that's exactly what I'm going to do.
Absolutely. And Craig, again, appreciate you talking to us. 6 wins and a championship. Congrats on it. And hopefully we will see you around. We appreciate it.
Thank you for everything. I hope to get involved in more PGR eSports things soon, man. Thank you.
All right. Sounds like a plan. Well, there you go. For the final time this season, Craig Janczak will sign off. And now that will bring us to your second place finisher here tonight. And that is the 24 machine of Nathan Meyer. Hey, Nathan, this is Austin up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, Austin, what's going on?
Well, you bring home a second place finish tonight. That's what's going on. A good run for you. I mean, we don't see you that often, but you come out here tonight and put on a great performance. Tell us a little bit about your night and what more you think you might have needed to hold off the 88 for one more lap.
Yeah, I've been in this league for a long time, but I had school on Tuesday night, so I missed all the races. So that got moved. So it's my first race of the year. But yeah, I think I had a 7-lap tire difference there at the end between the 88 and basically everyone else. So I just knew it was a matter of time. And I think once that contact with Hale that Craig had scrubbed my speed a lot. So I just kind of knew at that last restart, top 3 was kind of my goal, and I got second. So it was pretty good.
Yeah, absolutely. A good finish for you indeed. And I mean, overall, kind of how the season has looked for most people has been chaotic. But, you come here tonight, you get a little feel for things. If you go back to, or if we look ahead to next season, if you're able to race, what do you kind of keep in mind? How do you carry the momentum from tonight over to there?
Yeah, I think it's just getting in the seat more. This is my first time in a few months getting on here. And last season I won the championship in here. It was a pretty close race. So I'm just excited to be around all the guys again and race for the top spot.
Absolutely. Well, I'll tell you what, Nathan, round out a good finish for you here tonight. Before we let you head out, is there anyone you want to thank or shout out?
Yeah, thanks for Kevin putting this on, him and Grindstone Management. So all those cool guys are there. And thank you for putting on the broadcast.
And Nathan, thank you for talking to us. Congrats on the second place finish, and hopefully we'll see you next season.
Thanks.
All right, we're going to go see if we can find your third place finisher, Jameson Correa. Stick with us for just a minute. We'll be right back at Auto Club. All right, welcome back to Auto Club Speedway, and got your third place finisher in here. Didn't realize that Jameson Correa also goes by Miguel Correa, so he's already got a win this season, but here tonight, gets himself a good finish in that third spot. Jameson, you got a copy?
Yes, and I'm so glad to be here with you, and it was a really good race. Happy to drive with these people. Congrats to the winner, and I feel like today was a really successful day for our car.
Yeah, it was. Jameson, you ran a phenomenal race overall, and you bring home that third place finish. There was a lot of chaotic stuff going on at the end right there, but we've seen you with a couple good runs this season. How'd you feel about your season overall, and are you looking forward to next season?
I feel like this season was really good. I feel like we can bring momentum better into next season, try to get ourselves another W, and we'll see what we can do more next year and just get more seat time, practice more, and see what we can do next year.
Sounds like a pretty good plan. Well, I'll tell you what, Jameson, before we let you head out for the final time this season, is there anyone that you'd like to thank or shout out?
I would like to say thanks to my mom, my dad, Jack Racing, my coach, Coach Eddie, and my go-karting team, and everyone, you two, for helping and doing this for me. I mean, this is really a big opportunity. All my family members that are watching, and yes, thank you guys.
Jameson, thank you for talking to us. Congrats on that third place finish tonight, and we will see you next season.
See you guys soon.
There you go. Hey, the kid sounds young, but he sounds like he's got a lot of talent. It's always a good thing to have, and I'll tell you what a season it was. And that's the beautiful thing about iRacing, and we see it a lot in PGR. You have drivers of all different age groups, and it seems like regardless, they all come out here to race, and they all do a phenomenal job of it. So your top three, again, Craig Janzak, Nathan Meyer, and Jameson Correa. A great race here tonight, and a good finish to round things out. Again, Craig Janzak is your season champion, and we will kick things off in a few weeks with the next season for the Grindstone Developments Truck Series. But for the whole season and everyone that tuned in, we appreciate all the support, and thank you all so much for tuning in all the times that you have. And as for tonight, I hope that you enjoyed. That's it for me, Austin Green, here on PGR eSports. And until next time, have a good night.